Welcome everybody back to Minor League Esports. It's time for some Premier League action this time around. Bulls and Shadow going at it. But joining me in the booth this time around, we've got the one and only, the man himself, Lars Newt. How are you doing?
I am excellent, Grant. I'm so happy to be here with you. This wasn't really the plan, but we're here anyways, so I get to spend some time casting with my buddy Grant here on the Minor League Esports Network presented by APM Music. Like you said, Premier League matchup. We've got the Bulls and the Shadow, and man, what a matchup this stands to be. Premier League, for starters, being the cream of the crop, the top of the top. These are the best players in our league. And then on top of that, the Bulls and the Shadow, both very, very solid teams this season. We've got the Bulls at 21-9 and the Shadow at 19-11. I believe you were saying both sitting pretty high in the league rankings, both very much so playoff contenders. So I'm excited to see what these teams have coming out of the gate.
Yeah, Bulls sitting at the second seed and Shadow with the fourth. Last night, we got to witness the Wolves go up against the Eclipse, and at the time, that was the number 1 and number 2 team, but things have kind of switched as teams have had more chances to play more games, and the standings and records changed a little bit, but it was just the most incredible match I've ever seen on Minor League Esports. It was a classic for sure, and I'm ready to witness yet another between these two titans of teams.
Titans of teams, titans of players. I know some of these names very familiar. Evil and Canadian, to me in particular, I'm very familiar with. So I am super excited to see these players go at it. And I just can't express how awesome it is to be casting Premier League here tonight.
Oh yeah, Premier League is always just so exciting to watch. The best of the best, like you said, cream of the crop at the top. It's just so fast-paced, and right off the bat, Evil with a pass pinch off the ceiling, down to Canadian trying to capitalize, but Deluxe has got the control to maneuver their way around it, but it's sent back in by the Shadow. Looking for a demo was Canadian. Evil did not push for that one. Scapegoat was kind of acting like a T there, teeing it up for the other team. That's a nice little fake to keep the ball rolling in possession of the Shadow from Evil. Canadian sends a shot down, but that's out. Well, I thought it was going to be an easy clear, but Deluxe sends it in off the own goal. Shadow on the board first.
And that's just something you get to see out of this Premier League team. Canadian, that's a good turn-up field and lots of power, good accuracy all the way down the field. And Scapegoat doing their best to dive back on that one, but just rockets it into their own corner. It's such a tough save to make in that awkward turn back towards your own net. And unfortunately for the Bulls, it's going to be the Shadow that take the first lead of the series.
89 miles an hour, kind of a crazy redirect if you ask me. Scapegoat putting in chat, they said bang, because it was indeed a banger. Scapegoat taking it down, pass out to Deluxe, who's played it back in, but Canadian will push the ball out, put it back in again by Scapegoat. And the Bulls got some nice pressure rolling for them early on here in game 1. Evil, though, gets a strong clear out. Deluxe has to race back, they can't make it, and unfortunately, that's a second goal for the Shadow.
The Shadow really showing up in the transition here, and that's something interesting because of the minute or so we've played so far, about 40 seconds of it have been Shadow very aggressively up against the Bulls' back wall, putting tons and tons of pressure on the other net. But unfortunately for the Bulls, that's not even where that's going to come out. Bulls doing a good job defending their net, but getting caught in the transitions once it comes upfield and need to find a little bit better upfield pressure of their own.
And it kind of reminded me, it looked like a scene out of a 1v1 match. You're not supposed to, hold that thought. Scapegoat has just put him on the board. Tell me what we just saw here, Lars.
Scapegoat with just a nice, easy, controlled play, getting the flick over one, and then Canadian just caught out of position, looking for some boost in the corner, and Scapegoat controlled, no panic, doesn't try to force it too fast, maintains the ball close to their car, and that's a great way to solo play up the field.
I guess that makes 2 1v1 moments that I've seen, and we'll get back to that first one. Just kind of overcommitting, jumping on your opponent's side is something you want to avoid unless you're 100% certain that you can score, because otherwise you overcommit, you take yourself out of the play, and in a 1v1 scenario, that's incredibly dangerous. But in this 2v2 situation, the Shadow were able to capitalize so effectively, but returning to action now as Scapegoat receives this pass out from Deluxe, taking it up the wall for a carry. We know these players are capable. Evil meets the ball off the ceiling there, but it's teed up off of Deluxe, this time sent back into Bulls territory. Deluxe carrying it out to the ceiling, looking for another pinch. They're not going to find it. Looking for the ground pinch, though. Blocked by Canadian. Great job putting themselves as a stopper. But that's great control. The 180 flick blocked by Deluxe. Canadian doesn't get enough credit for that incredible dribble around the defender, but Deluxe find themselves in the midfield. Here's a miss by Evil. We're back to a kind of 1v1 scenario, but Canadian, they've got the mechanics. They know they do. Pass off the back wall. Nobody home for the Shadow.
I really like what I'm seeing here. Out of the Shadow, they're out salaried by, I think, a full 1 or 1.5, which I know if you're just joining us here in Minor League Esports, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it really is, because that's a difference of 100, 150 MMR or so. But the Shadow really showing up, but not there, getting beat, coming back the other way. Deluxe reads that across the middle off that failed to clear from Evil and gets the easy open net.
It's a tough one to read from Evil. Scapegoat thought they had a ground pinch coming or some sort of 50, but Evil couldn't read it properly, and that's just going to cost them. Simple as that. But man, what a just quick series we're witnessing here so far. Still 2 minutes to play. We've got ourselves a tie game. Evil's up for this one. Meets it with Scapegoat. Canadian receives the pass from the Bulls player, but they're going to get bullied a little bit. Deluxe off the post, or off the corner, excuse me, but Canadian playing it back downfield, blocked by Scapegoat, trying to put Bulls back in offense here. They do so successfully. It's up to the back wall. Scapegoat playing it again up high. Water falls down, but that's a textbook clear for Canadian. They know they've hit the training packs on that one for hundreds of hours. And never mind, I was going to do a nice little smooth transition Canadian, but no, he's going to take it in with his incredible control off the flick and get one in.
Canadians got something out for you here, Grant, but that is a nice touch. It's something I really like what I'm seeing out of both sides of the ball, but especially with the Shadow, is patience with the ball. They're not panicking. They're being smooth and controlled. They're taking their time to line up shots when they know they have it. And that one's going to go off the crossbar, quick for a follow-up, but Deluxe clearing it away. But there's just not a lot of panic. And that's something I guess you could assume is going to happen at the Premier League, is to have nice controlled players, but Canadian.
This is just a common theme, especially when you and I cast together. We try to get it back and get us both some screen time, but Canadian's like, no, I want all the screen time. And they're just going to take it for themselves under the last defender. But like you were saying, you know, it's high-level gameplay, and what my transition was going to be was saying, speaking of 100, we've got 100 points difference in MMR here, which is huge, because each game you win, you have to win 10 games in a row to get that high, and a win streak like that is pretty hard to come by, especially when you're at ranks higher than Grand Champ. But Deluxe getting physical. Scapegoat's flick goes high, and unfortunately it's a little ironic there, talking about how high level these players are, but there's Canadian, the star of this match, at least in my opinion so far, clearing this one out. But they're going to have to defend a tough shot from Scapegoat. They do so successfully, but not for long. Deluxe off the rebound from the opponent, puts one in, Bulls within one.
If you've ever heard me cast, you know what I'm about to say, which is I love plays off the back wall. You don't have to score on the first shot, because what's going to happen as you bring that ball near the net but not quite to it, you force a response out of the defenders. They have to respond. They have to try to make a play on it. And when they're making a play on that back wall, they're not making a play in front of the net. It gives you a more open net with a good opportunity. And there, that play up to the crossbar drew out both Shadow defenders and gave the easy follow-up to get that Bulls within one. But now, 36 seconds to go. They need to find some magic fast.
Deluxe tried to get a pass back in, but Shadow once again there to shut them down. Deluxe receiving a far one, though, planting it in the inside. And that's a tie game we have.
That is a great look out of Scapegoat, meeting that one on the wall, being aggressive upfield. And then the big key here, Deluxe. Low boost, the ball looks like it's starting to clear, but it hasn't yet. Lurking in front of the net, but far side, ready to accept any kind of play back the other way. And you can see why it's so effective.
Shadow have done a great job. So the Bulls, though. Deluxe tried to get more offense, but time running low here. We could be looking at an overtime. There's a bump in the midfield. One player from each side. Evil pinches this one out, but it's a pass to Scapegoat, who puts a shot in. Once again, rolling up high. Demo on the last defender, though. Evil all alone here. They've got one more shot to defend against. Deluxe looking for a flick over the top of one. Has a second to beat, but Canadian blocks it away. Ball still in the air. Deluxe keeps it up, but it will hit the floor. We do indeed have overtime, and it's only game one. Deluxe out to Evil off the kickoff. Evil waiting along the back wall, pass over to maybe a teammate to receive this one. Yep, Canadian is there, sending it long downfield, met by Deluxe. Just plays it away to the corner. Evil quick to this one, lots of pressure coming in from Shadow, looking for the bump. I think they almost stopped Scapegoat from jumping there, but that's gonna cost him. Evil gets back quickly though. It's still dangerous to Scapegoat. Is waiting around a demo again. Scapegoat this time set on their player. It doesn't matter. It's calculated. Deluxe takes game 1 for the Bulls.
That right there shows why it's so effective getting some demo and physical play, and then the Goomba Stomp on your own teammate to make that one work. Wow, what a turn at the end of this game. I don't think anyone expected to see this one, and maybe not with the scoreline, but how it did with the way that one showed up. Wow, that is something crazy. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of things that we're seeing with these teams that are really, really effective in how they're positioning and how they're playing, and to make them have these options that they do. Let's talk really quick here about that game-tying goal that we had at the end there, which is as the ball was starting to come out of the net, it was coming up the wall over here, just like this right here, but Scapegoat meeting that ball up the wall and sending it across over to their teammate, who, when they were low and they had finished their rotation, had decided to circle back and circle in tight here. You only really want to pick, on offense, these couple of boosts in front here. You don't want to be caught cycling out to these big boosts or these boosts in the middle, because what's going to happen is as that ball comes across, either from a shot off the back wall, something like this, or that pass we saw across all the way deep over here or off the ceiling here, you're going to be way out of position to make that kind of play. What you really want to have happen is you want to be lurking on the back side. On the other side, too, we see what that helped them win this game in that overtime is when you're done, you make your push-up field, you try to take a shot on net, it doesn't work out. You don't necessarily want to peel away towards the wall like this. You want to rotate through and be hunting a bump or something on the defender, grab the boost on the far side, and then come back and allow your teammate to re-attack from the other side.
Yeah, great coverage there. Lars Newt coming in with the graphics, getting all fancy with it, but yeah, not much else to say. He covered everything that at least I was going to say. Lots of different strategic maneuvers that you got to pull off on your team, or the opponents rather, but we are getting things set up with a new server. We had a new server request from the Shadow, so we're getting those things set up, but man, I don't even know what to say to follow that. Lars Newt, everybody, get some, that was hype in the chat. Let's, oh my.
I try to do what I can. It's so much easier to explain the points as I'm trying to make them with the board in front of me. But what we're seeing here is these teams adapting a little bit as they move through this game, which is really great to see. And it's kind of expected at this Premier League level. These teams have had a lot of time in game to learn their play style that they like to do. And we see a little bit of that, like we asked out of that last series. You have to come out of the gate swinging. You can't be slow and just trying to feel out a team and really kind of baiting them out. You have to do your play style, and then if it's not working, then you make adjustments. And that's what we saw out of the Bulls here in game number 1. Right off the bat, the Shadow, very dominant, doing a very good job getting pressure upfield, and the Bulls adjust. They're looking for transition plays to catch the Shadow out. They're getting those quick, tight rotations in front, baiting the Shadow with those back wall bounces to open up the net. And then at the end, when they needed the extra little something, they added something we didn't see throughout the entirety of game number 1, which is they got physical, and they got up in the face of the Shadow, and it opened up the net for them. The Shadow, on the other hand, when they're on, they are on. They do a really, really, really good job of putting the ball in the net. We see that with those big leads that they opened up. The big problem with the Shadow is they're not consistent, and that's something that really worries me, is the lack of consistency. As we know, at this level, it is all about consistency. So what we really want to see is a team find something that works and stick with it until it doesn't, and then make an adjustment. But if you're hot and cold, we end up with what happens here is the Bulls manage a comeback, score another one, and they take away game number 1.
Yeah, we're actually waiting on the Shadow to join now. I think our observer has left, so we'll wait for some information to see what actually gets going here. But yeah, like you said, showing... Alright, we are actually getting a new server, so we're going to tell everybody to leave and get that underway. But yeah, like you were saying, show your playstyle first. It's something I'm huge on, but I can't even pull it off in game because it's just a huge lack of confidence. It's like, I don't want to go out into the real world. I don't know what's out there, but you gotta just like open up the door and walk outside. Show how you play the other team. There is no fear. And if you can just play what you're comfortable with, then you'll be able to take that throw it against the other team. If they can just counterattack you or do whatever to counter whatever your playstyle is, then, like you said, start making those adjustments as you need to. You don't need to play back all conservative and try to bait somebody in off of, being conservative, playing defensively, playing passively, what have you. You gotta get out there and show what you're made of.
Well, we're going to get to see what these teams are made of as we move into game number 2 here. We're finally up and running. I apologize for that, but anyone that's played a lot of Rocket League, you know how it is with Rocket League and the servers. But here we are in game number 2. The Bulls looking to repeat game number 1, but maybe with a little bit more dominance in the Shadow. Get that early lead and hold on to it.
Well, I'm actually getting myself settled in the game, but I'm here now. It looks like the Shadow finding themselves on an offensive attacking opportunity. Canadian back across. Scapegoat's got a ball to race for. They find the angle with some style as well. What a way to come out the gates. Bulls showing their play style first.
13 seconds in, and the Bulls are fast, getting that ball first all over the field, and then that nice little kind of negative angle touch back towards the net. That's an easy follow-up for players of this caliber, and that is dangerous for the Shadow. That's a quick showing from the Bulls. It allows them to get some confidence here early in game number 2.
Well, confidence was for sure what Deluxe had, taking a risk and going off the ceiling there. Almost a pinch into their own net. Bulls got to be careful. A little miscommunication can definitely become costly here, but Scapegoat trying to play it out to the midfield to Deluxe, but Canadian finding the pass instead to Evil, who smartly backs away. Then challenges early, catching Deluxe off guard. Pass missed by Evil on the reception. That's away from Scapegoat. Bulls got to play a little more consistently and confidently here as Canadian plays this up the ceiling. Scapegoat from the heavens to Deluxe, who's reading it off the backboard. Holy Moses!
Wow. Just wow. Both the Shadow players caught up field. The Bulls have all the time in the world to slow this one down and play it safe, but man, do they not. Throwing that one at the back wall where Deluxe is ready and waiting, leaping off the back wall and redirecting into the net. That is an incredible play. Remember, this is a Minor League Esports official broadcast, so if you like what you see, go ahead and clip it and submit it for Play of the Week, either on Twitter at MLE Sports GG, hashtag POTW, or in the appropriate Discord, but right back the other way, the bounce pass off the back wall to Canadian.
Well, there's contention for that play of the week. We just saw Evil with the double touch read off the back wall. Like you said, you love to see those back wall plays. Canadian reading it so darn well. But what a game, too, we've got going on here, Lars.
We expected a lot of excitement and energy here in these Premier League matchups, but man, are they delivering. And as this game goes on, you can only expect more. We're still only early in game number 2. As they figure each other out and warm up, it's going to be crazy.
And Canadian going to find themselves a little awkward off the ceiling here. Evil making up for it, though. Not as effective as it needs to be. A Scapegoat fires one up high. That one not as effective either. Evil, another kind of just double backflip we're seeing from the Shadow. They're getting a little panicked by this Bulls team. Scapegoat from the right wall, looking to pass midfield, gets it over the top of Evil. Canadian back for the save. Strong clear out, met by Deluxe though. Something that, especially at this league, hold on a second! Oh my gosh, Deluxe! You are Deluxe! That is exquisite!
I have so few words to say what happens here. That's a great read from Deluxe, and the Shadow doing everything they can, meeting that at the back wall exactly like you should, but Deluxe reading at a collegiate level, dunks that one right back down and able to clean that one up to give them that 2-goal lead.
Deluxe, you're a madman. I can't even believe my eyes, half the stuff that they pulled off this game. Both of their goals being highlight reel level, and now Bulls find themselves with an open net. Pass over to the Deluxe off the back wall. It's red and in. Deluxe picking up a hat trick along the way.
The Bulls engaging again in a little bit of physical play here, trying to get that one open, and I'm incorrect. They're Evil with the touch, but it's not enough. Too little, too late. And Grant, it just feels a little bit right now almost like it's a show match that we're just here for a highlight reel, but it's not. Both these teams coming out swinging, doing everything they can to get the edge, and it's just crazy what they're pulling off.
And Deluxe is the kind of teammate that I want to play with. I'm a freestyler at heart, and Deluxe pulling one off the backboard, getting the just nicest read off the dunk from the touch of the defender. And I just wonder what they're going to pull off next, but unfortunately, hyping up Deluxe a little too much. Once again, Canadian coming back for their screen time.
The Bulls getting tons and tons of fancy, high-level plays, but sometimes all you need is a good, consistent, easy play style, and right there, bait out the first defender, get them upfield and out of the way, and then send someone forward, go hunt that physical play in net. And the big thing with physical plays is you don't actually have to make a touch. All you have to do is spook the defender. Right there, Deluxe forced to jump and boost to get out of the way, and it slows them down enough to allow Canadian to drive up, and we know Canadian can make those goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a capable player. Here's Canadian, speaking of the man, dropping it down. I'm losing my mind for the second night in a row with this Premier League stuff. Check this out. Evil with the pop pass up to Canadian, dropping it down. Deluxe nowhere in sight in front of the ball, and man, what a goal.
That is crazy. Canadian, something I love about Canadian that's also a little bit of something to caution out of the shadow is it feels like the Bulls are just faster right now, and that's where they're getting a lot of these opportunities for some of these crazy plays, is just being quick to the ball. But Canadian playing a little bit more of a slow, methodical style. We saw in game number 1 picking up a goal off of, or almost a goal off of a nice slow dribble around, getting very good control and kind of baiting out the defenders. But there, that aerial, again, a nice soft, easy touch, but well controlled and enough to put it behind this Bulls defense. And it's a interesting dichotomy between these two teams, but that's Canadian all the way back down the field, and it's pitched out, but that's coming right back in again.
Oh! Clip that. I can't believe what we have just seen. What the heck, Bulls? That save was nuts. What's that, number 5 for the play of the week? Clip that and submit them in the MLE Discord server under hashtag play of the week. Evil now at the Devils. Bulls continue downfield. Another shot over the top. Canadian deflects it away. But man, Shadow within 1. They've got to defend this attack from the Shadow, or from the Bulls. Canadian out to the side, tripped up by Deluxe. They retreat back. Evil gets the 50 with Deluxe. It's played out to the left wall. Another attacking opportunity to burn the clock for the Bulls. Here's Canadian, waits it back, playing it up to the wall. Looking to take it far away, but Scapegoat cuts in on him. Evil doesn't get the touch they want here. Scapegoat back up, trying to make it out to their teammate, but it's a 2v1 situation. It will become a 2v2 again. A Scapegoat running out of boost here. They're dry in the tank. Somehow they picked it up along the way. Canadian, this one should waterfall right down. They met it with Deluxe. It's blocked again by the Bulls defense. What do the Shadow have to do in these final closing seconds? Maybe catch the Bulls off guard with this shot from Canadian. It's dunked on in. That's a tie game.
Canadian dunking Deluxe here after Scapegoat and Evil touch that one, tee it up in the middle in front of the net. Grant, are we about to see our second overtime in as many games at this Premier League level?
This is only game 2? What? Lars, am I correct on this? This is game 2? Oh, never mind. Never mind. Oh, that's tragic to see. I thought we were going to see another overtime, but instead it's Deluxe with the shot over Canadian. Caster's curse. I guess you could call it, Lars.
That is unfortunate. Canadian doing everything they can to get that one back, and there's only so much you could do. That angle is extremely awkward. You have all this momentum headed back towards your own net, and getting the ability to kill all the momentum for not only your car, but also the ball, it's borderline, if not actually impossible. But a huge showing out of both of these teams. Unfortunately, the Bulls now going up 2-0 in the series. It puts the Shadow definitely on the back foot. They need to pick up a win here to keep this series alive. But let's take a quick look here at one of the ways the Bulls getting the advantage here at this highlight. Deluxe, that angle coming off of the back wall from Scapegoat. Man, this is just such a dirty play. And then Scapegoat, the only Scapegoat on the Bulls team is in name alone, because, man, they're showing up on both ends of the ball. Those pass plays upfield, get 2 assists out of Scapegoat, scoring themselves with a nice goal. And then some of those saves, Scoreboard only shows 2 saves for Scapegoat, but man, did they get robbed, because their defensive effort, in particular that one set of saves, I know everybody here knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
That was obscene. That was so crazy. I think we're only in game number 2, but if there's a play of the week out of this series, that's it. It's in the defensive end. It's Scapegoat in the net, miraculously keeping that ball out.
I just want a match highlight for that one too. JSA, get on it. But man, we're looking forward to an exciting game 3. Both games 1 and 2 have been just crazy. Unfortunately, the last one ends in a turbo goal. You hate to see it, but man, that game 2, I'd say, was this close to being a classic. It was outstanding, but I'm just gonna call it off that dumb turbo goal, that miss from Canadian putting it into their own net. That's for me what killed it in the classics, but still incredible show and display of mechanical skill from both sides, Canadian and Deluxe. You guys are nasty. Canadian is going to try to make something happen for the Shadow again, but now it's Evil who gets the pass, looking for a doink. Was Canadian upfield. Deluxe carrying it down, actually bouncing it up instead. Canadian strong 50 out, up high, might float itself in. Deluxe has to make a difficult clear, but they do so very effectively. Canadian up high, down low is Evil, flicking it over the top of Scapegoat real quick with no boost. That's just phenomenal. Car, just understanding how the car moves, but not so much for Scapegoat. Actually, it's a calculated back pass, don't mind me. Evil now, look for the redirect. I thought we were gonna see it, but Canadian back on it. Bulls in offense.
That redirect opportunity for the Shadow would have been just another in a long series of crazy plays here, but unfortunately Evil was, I think, about 3 boosts short of making it happen. Unfortunate, but it really threatens back the other way, as that's going to threaten the Shadow net. Deluxe with a clean flick over the top.
Well, okay then, Deluxe. Still here to play. They're warmed up, but they're beyond it with that one. The clean flick just scooped itself perfectly up in front of Canadian. Can't make contact, and Bulls on the board first in game number 3. This is just so captivating that I can't remember what has happened in the last games other than the highlight reel shot. I don't know what the score is. Sometimes I forget what the game is. I don't even know who's playing. I just know that these teams are nuts.
Where am I? Where am I? There's too much happening. It's too fast, and these players are too good as that one comes down and Evil follows it to tie us back up. These teams are so well matched. I love to see it on the side of the Shadow. I think when the Shadow are on, they've got the Bulls beat. The Shadow are so hot when they get rolling, but unfortunately, they're just a little inconsistent. It kind of comes and goes, and when it goes, the level that the Bulls just kind of naturally sit at and have been riding out this entire series so far just ekes them out, and it's enough to maintain control of the series, which is not to knock the Bulls. As you know, a lot of those highlights we've already talked about have come on the back of the Bulls, but now the Shadow threatened back, and the Bulls scrambling in the defensive end.
I was going to say, you're exactly right with the inconsistencies from the Shadow, but still it's close. I don't even know how they keep it this close, but that's a demo from Scapegoat onto Canadian. But like I was saying, the inconsistencies, especially on that last one, Deluxe was caught outfield. Hold on a second. Save from Evil. Just, gosh, I can't even keep up. They're just too fast. They're too good. But like I said, Deluxe find themselves up in the upfield, and they're going to do it again, this time getting a goal out of it, getting some revenge for their mistake.
It's so tame compared to what we've seen so far. Everything, the pace of this is just cranked up and up and up and up. And I think that actually contributed a little bit to that goal there, as the pace has just skyrocketed. All Deluxe had to do was throw on the brakes, slow it down, and the Shadow, still in that full send, full go mode, dive past the ball, open up the net for the Bulls, and the Bulls take the lead here again in game number 3.
Well, Bulls looking to extend that lead. Fake from Deluxe. Easy save by Canadian, though. Great positioning and awareness from the Shadow. It's that consistency we're looking to see, but Canadian finding themselves in a 1v1. Oh, what is going on in this series? Scapegoat, you are goated.
That is just a very clean double touch. Chipping that one up from deep in your own end, meeting it again about the midfield mark to make sure it carries all the way over, and then the double touch taking advantage of the fact that Canadian was still in that rotation backwards. I don't know how much boost Canadian had, but they really needed to meet that one at the at the goal line, or excuse me, at the crossbar to take that one away. And that's something that we see a lot of, especially here at the Premier League level. You can't wait for that ball to come down. As you go higher and higher level, the faster you have to meet that to take advantage of it. Here at Premier League, because we know these teams, these players can double touch like that, you have to meet the ball at or before it reaches the wall.
And Bulls looking to push out quick here, get an early attack, but Evil playing it back in, almost got a sick read off the corner there. Canadian 50 back in though, almost finding the demo as Evil, and what a just controlled play from Scapegoat, dribbled it around Canadian, and now a counter attack. Gosh, Shadow, and just our Bulls, excuse me. Like I said, where am I? I don't know. The pass from Scapegoat over to Deluxe, clean redirect in the upper 90.
In any other context, I would lose my mind over that pass play because it's so clean and it's so nice. And in addition to the back wall, the big thing I really, really look for out of teams is those infield passes. But again, with the way the Bulls and the Shadow have been playing, it's just tame, but it's a really clean play. You really like to see it. You pull Evil out by waiting on the pass as long as you can. Deluxe reads what's happening, starts to come in a little bit, and then you just beam it right in front of them to finish it off.
Well, speaking of beaming under the defender this time, Canadian comes in with a strong grounder. Straight roller into the net. Scapegoat finding themselves a little awkward off the wall there. Those shots, you just can't do anything about it. You can't stick around on the back wall. It's something that I talk about in my coaching for Foundation League. At that level, at least, being on the opposite side of the spectrum for, I guess, high level to low level gameplay. If you're on the back wall, once you come off of it, you fully committed. You can't adjust your car height-wise. It's all up to gravity at that point, and unfortunately, that's just what was on the receiving end for the defense to defend against. But this one is a pass off the back wall. You'll love to see it. Deluxe coming in off the pass from Scapegoat.
This is the largest lead we've seen out of the Bulls this late in the game. Actually, they came from behind in the first one, and then the second one just barely held on as the Shadow made a run to try to make the comeback. I think this is very, very dangerous territory for the Shadow. They need to find some magic in the next 15 seconds or so, or I think this is game over for them in the series, but it's a set. Remember, this is Minor League Esports. We're going to play all 5 games if you're just stumbling across us here, because every game counts. But do I think we've seen the last of scoring in this game? Absolutely not. We're going to see some other craziness here as Canadian baits out Deluxe, tries to get it under, and unfortunately Deluxe is able to finish it, and there it is. Said we're going to see more goals just back the other way than the Shadow needed. That is Scapegoat with the easy turtle all the way down the field.
Well, man, not much else to say. You find Shadow pushed up a little too far, but, you know, I pointed it out in at least the chat. Evil is the only one who has yet to score a highlight reel shot, and they had a just crazy opportunity off that double touch, and unfortunately that miss really cost them in the end, giving up possession to the Bulls there. And now Bulls will take advantage with the 4-goal lead. Scapegoat trying to make it 5. No contact meant. So you roll out the 20 seconds. I couldn't tell you if another goal was going to be... Okay, Deluxe.
Grant, you mentioned if more goals are going to be scored. What did you think was going to happen? Deluxe with a nice touch over the top, baiting both the Shadow out. And this is such an effective play style. You have to draw the defenders away from the net because they are so good at this level on both sides of the ball of defending the net. You can't just take shots. You have to find a way to open it up, to draw them out, to draw them away from defending, and then take your opportunities.
And Bulls, just Deluxe is on the verge of a double hat trick. The ball actually going to hit the floor. I call that questionable psionics. I thought that should have stayed up even longer. See another goal. I don't even know, man, but oh my gosh, what a series. Like, okay, Bulls, first of all, so much pressure on the net. A 50% shooting accuracy overall if you include Deluxe, scoring 5 goals out of their 10 shots overall. That is... Everybody in chat is now like, wait, why do you say Evil's turn? And they've just put it together. Oh, he has to get on the highlight reel too, but Evil says nah. So unfortunate, that hurts my soul, Evil. Thank you very much. But gosh, here is a match highlight from the last game. JSA has put it together. Let's take a look at this from game number 2. This incredible save from the Bulls defense. I thought it was over. Scapegoat got the pinch off the post, and then Canadian couldn't read it. And then another pinch came out from the Bulls. And gosh, these teams are so exciting to watch. This is the best of the best, people. Minor League Esports Premier League. There's a reason it's called Premier.
Absolutely. As here, there, it's just crazy. But again, I mentioned this in game number 2. I think the Bulls are just outpacing the Shadow a little bit, and it really gives them the advantage to be able to take those crazy opportunities like they do because they're just beating the Shadow out to the ball. The Shadow need to turn up the pace a little bit. And I know that's scary because what happens inevitably, no matter what level of play you're at, if you start to push your pace, you're going to start to make more mechanical errors. You're going to start to make more mistakes. But that's just part of the game. If you ever spend the time to watch some RLCS, they make mistakes, they make whiffs, they miss shots, things happen. But the reason it's happening is because, as always, they're pushing pace to the absolute limit. And that's what the Shadow need here to beat out this Bulls team.
Well, let's see if they can do so and get something rolling quickly, but Deluxe is going to have a nice clear. Looking for the demo on Canadian Evil. Plays it patiently, almost stopped their momentum and prevented themselves from saving that one, but they do get it away eventually. Deluxe! What?
Right off the bat, we're 21 seconds in, and off that great ceiling pass from Scapegoat, Deluxe read that like a book, was able to get there sailing across the field, and a beautiful touch. I mean, the things that have to come together to make that touch work are insane. You have to have just the right angle, just the right speed, just the right timing relative to where that ball is and where it's going to be, and hit it with just the right part of the car at just the right angle, and there it is. Deluxe picks up another highlight-worthy goal, but at this point, I've said it again, I've said it already, I'll say it again, there's just too much. We can't clip all of this. We can't have all of it. You only get one Play of the Week submission.
Yeah, well, I will definitely be contributing to the Deluxe train, and I hope some of chat will come with me. But Evil said they're not done yet. Their dribble play will be blocked away. Another incredible read from Deluxe. Go Pro! What are you doing here? Deluxe is an absolute madman. The pass from Scapegoat finds the slim angle again. Doesn't even touch the floor. Clean as all heck.
I want to talk about why Deluxe is able to make all of these crazy plays. And we said Deluxe a lot, but Scapegoat, this doesn't happen without a rock-solid teammate. You cannot do this on your own. As you'll notice, both of these goals for Deluxe are crazy, absurd angles off of passes from Scapegoat. With no Scapegoat, the Bulls are not this team, and you don't get enough love for being a support player. But man, you have to. And on the flip side of that too is you can't be that aggressive upfield like Deluxe has been without having a teammate to play defense, but they're Evil. What is this? Flip backwards, baiting out the jump from Deluxe, reading it, and then dunking it right back down. Thank you, Evil, for contributing yourself to our highlight extravaganza.
Oh my gosh, highlight extravaganza. I couldn't have put it better myself. That is incredible. Now every single player has a highlight reel shot. Can we just put this series up for the Play of the Week? Because I just couldn't pick so many from Deluxe, especially Canadian, shortly behind him. Scapegoat, like you said, incredible teammate and great on defense as well. This shot rolling in from Canadian. We've got a tie game in game whatever it is, probably 4.
What feels like game 53 of game 4 here. Wow. Canadian, that is something we talked about in game number 1, though. With all this craziness going on, you can win a championship on just good, simple, clean goals. Canadian, that's a weird, very well-placed, very accurate shot, but no crazy, fancy, double flip reset to triple touch. Find your opening in the defense and hit it. And Canadian does a very good job of doing exactly that.
Well, Canadian waiting on the back here. Actually, they were on the offensive with Evil. Evil getting the demo. Scapegoat hunting this one out, trying to even things up, knowing that Deluxe would spawn back. Great field awareness and game awareness overall. Evil now to the corner. No touch made by Shadow. This one's floating back towards their net. But Bulls gonna be stuck on defense for a moment here. Canadian gets the read off the ceiling. Deluxe waiting down low from the wall, and a shot in from Evil goes behind Scapegoat. The placement is outstanding.
Grant, I don't want to be this guy, but what did I just say about find your opening and pick it? Just now, that is Evil seeing the opening, threading the needle between both Bulls players, rolling it off the corner up and into the net. Again, good quick turn to a very, very accurate shot to give the Shadow the advantage, finally, for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and Evil just showing that they don't need to be all fancy the whole time. They just got to get some simple groundwork in. And it works out well for them. Maybe now that the pressure's off on getting on the highlight reel, maybe that's gone. Maybe that's what's playing to their advantage and successes here as they find themselves in the lead in game number 4. Scapegoat playing it to the corner. Not as well as they need to. Those Evil looking to drop it down. No boost to work with. Scapegoat catches it on the floor. Looking to flick over the top of Canadian. They do so. No, it goes off wide of the post. Deluxe with a shot and a save from Canadian. The defense is proving too strong with the Shadow.
Wow, the Shadow, I think, have got the Bulls on the back foot here. We've seen the Bulls playing fast and free and loose, and it's been working for them. But now with the Shadow taking the advantage here with a little bit of a double commit, that's dangerous. Got to watch out for that. With the Shadow getting some advantage here, they're starting to pick up the speed, and we're seeing some cracks in the Bulls' armor. They've made a couple of mistakes. They've got a couple of fields flips, a couple of double commits, and it's opening up for the Shadow. Shadow just need to keep this up, and hopefully they can pick a game up here. But the Bulls, it's going to be a tall order. They seem to be getting a little bit of confidence back.
Yeah, and Shadow also playing real well here. Miss from Scapegoat. We're seeing inconsistencies cracking in the defense of Bulls, and the way that they're able to transition out of this pocket, they've got themselves into Scapegoat, doing everything they can to keep it up high away from Evil. But at this league, everybody's going to be able to get to the air. Evil now playing it back out to midfield. Demo from Canadian, keeping things open. Shadow, they try to extend their lead. Flick over the top from Deluxe, trying to get over the second, maybe baiting Canadian to just wait there for the ball to come to them, and it does. 30 seconds now, but Bulls, they've got offensive pressure rolling. Scapegoat looking for the flip reset, not going to find it. Long booming clear down from Canadian, back in though with Deluxe. Shooting on target. Evil making an incredible save, getting some style points on it as well. Evil looking to come down from the top, but nice clear all around. Final 15 seconds. Canadian saves a shot from Bulls. Deluxe back in. Another save from Canadian. He's crazy with it, looking for a pinch on the ground. It will effectively clear its way out as Bulls look to make one last push. Pass down to Scapegoat, blocked away by Evil, and the ball is still in the air. However, Deluxe gets a strong clear though. Canadian looking to get one final one going. Scapegoat can't race to it. Shadow pick a game off of Bulls for the first time in this series, and I mean, they overcame those inconsistencies, and it's something that we were harping on the whole, just all series long.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking as with the clock clicked down through those final few seconds. As I was thinking to myself, the Shadow, they got consistent in game number 4. They played the game. They know how to. It wasn't crazy fanciness. I know we saw a great shot out of Evil to get them a goal here, but for the most part, this victory comes on the back of just solid, consistent gameplay, well positioned, and something I really want to call out here is Canadian. Very patient, very intelligent gameplay style. They're not quite as fast as the Bulls team, I have to say it. They get beat out a fair amount, but man, when they have a little bit of time to think about what they're doing, they're very patient. They tend not to panic. They do a very good job staying calm under pressure and then putting themselves in an excellent spot to make saves. So Canadian, again, just a great job playing a patient, consistent, very well thought out game style. And Evil doing an awesome job of playing around that sort of kind of more passive play style, which normally I'm very down on. I do not like a passive play style, but the way Canadian is managing it and using it to draw the Bulls up and putting themselves in a great position where that passive play style actually works, if that is the kind of play style you want, Canadian is putting on a masterclass.
Yeah, just there's, like I said, nothing else to be said. You do so well, covering everything that at least I want to touch on, so thank you for being just the best partner out there with that. But here comes Canadian, the man we were just talking about, firing a nice one down over to Scapegoat, is going to carry it out to the midfield for Deluxe, getting bumped in the air out of nowhere. Shadow Evil coming in as a sniper in the mid-air. Scapegoat take this one from the side wall. Evil trying to keep it out, maybe get a bump along the way. They don't do so. Canadian tries to get physical as well. Evil, nice shot down to the back wall, looking to pass it back in. Deluxe missing the clear, missing their second touch. Canadian back in for Shadow. It's over to Evil. Strong rotations and good passive playstyle from Evil. They're gonna have a clear here, but it's gonna be tough off that 50 from Deluxe. Canadian trying to carry it up the wall, wants to get it out past the first defender, and they do that. Looking for the demo on Deluxe, but they jumped out, avoiding that one. Shadow It's a confusing playstyle to watch. 1 minute they're passive, the next they're real physical. Deluxe gets a waterfall shot, almost got the second read. Almost another play of the week. But man, Shadow, just, oh my.
You say confusing, I say intelligent, because it's waiting for your opportunity and then pouncing on it. You're not trying to force it. You're not overcommitting forward. You're doing a very good job of just settling down, keeping good, consistent control of the ball, and then once that opportunity opens up, absolutely attacking it, getting right on it. We've all talked about the speed of light, but what's the speed of dark? The Shadow, when it comes time, zip across the field. They're right there on top of it, and the Bulls getting caught out a little bit. There's no red in the Shadows here for them to attack right now.
And Bulls, great rotations all around, so smart to keep the ball out as the Shadow continue to pick up pace. Canadian playing this one back around. Evil will wait in the backfield for Canadian to flick this one over. It finds the post though. Man, Shadow almost had yet another one to take home for the highlight reel, but Evil gonna leave this one for Canadian, who's trying to take it back out and get another attack going, but Deluxe is up to the backboard again. Evil knew they had to shut him down, still dangerous on the post. Scapegoat won't push for it. Deluxe find themselves a little awkward, almost a miscommunication. Bulls recovering well off the spinouts and all the craziness happening, but Evil's got a flick over the top. No boost to work with. Canadian coming in from the backfield, able to make up for the slow player in their teammate, and just great communication there.
Can we talk about what just happened here? Shadow jumping to try to get clear of Canadian, get up and over and open that up for Canadian to follow that up. But finally, we see the Bulls falling to what they've punished the Shadow on so often in this series, which is that overcommit forward, getting both players upfield, and then just one needs to get burned for that to turn back the other way. Evil, great patience, scooped that up with 3 boosts, got control of that ball, waited for the one player to go by, flicked over the second, and was ready for Canadian to come up and follow that one in.
Speaking of Canadian, taking a back pass to Evil, play a little more passive, but they're back on the attack so quickly. Scapegoat gets a nice clear out of the way. Evil cutting back in to cut off Scapegoat. It's Canadian once again looking to take it up the wall, but met by Scapegoat. Pass down to Deluxe, who sent it far away for Evil to try to make a touch on. They do so by beating out the attacker. Scapegoat and Canadian 50ing. It's dangerous for Bulls, but Deluxe, smart play to play it out to the corner and keep the Shadow from another potential passing opportunity. That's an incredible carry into a pinch off the wall to Deluxe. If Scapegoat scores that, which they did, that would have been absolutely out of this world. Deluxe pass back over to Scapegoat. If they scored that, that would have been crazy too. But Shadow, they're like, no. We're not letting you have any more screen time. We're going to keep this lead. We've got a minute and a half to get on it and keep it. Hold on for dear life. Are they now from this Bulls offense?
This is the lowest scoring game we've seen by far, but not for lack of effort. These teams have just come up to a peak. This is, I think, about as good as it's gonna get. They are so fast and so aggressive. There's just no time to even take shots. They're always on top of each other, looking for that extra little bit of edge. That's a huge bump play. Canadian here, looking to finish it off, and Deluxe almost getting the save.
Just wow. Evil going up high, took out Scapegoat. Just, they're nowhere. They sent him to another planet, and Canadian able to plant that one in the net, putting Shadow up 2-0 in game number 5, looking to not go away in a 4-1, making it 3-2 loss at least. Evil now up for the Shadow, plays it way up high, hits the ceiling on its way down though. Scapegoat trying to dribble around Canadian, but a 50 off the tee. That was Scapegoat for the Bulls. Pass down to Deluxe. We know they can read it, but Evil taking the carry again from defense. Shadow just like that with a counter-attacking opportunity shut down by Canadian. It's back in front, but nobody's going to be able to receive that. Would have had to been a solo play for the Shadow, but Deluxe for the Bulls carrying it up, trying to pass it out. They're not going to get it. Evil, strong, clear. The demo on the defender. Canadian, no, their shot goes wide. They just got to keep offensive pressure on to hold on to this lead for 20 more seconds. Canadian will do so as they play it up to the back wall. It might actually float into the net, but it's dunked down by Deluxe and the 50 with Canadian. 10 seconds to go. Strong flick from Scapegoat. It goes out to the corner. Evil back into the wall. Once again, Deluxe baits out the defender. 4 seconds. I think Shadow have taken this game. They have. What a display of mechanics from all of these teams. Ball hits the floor. That is a classic for sure.
This series wow. This series was a decider. It deserved to be a Game 5 decider. It really did. This has been such an even series, such an even back and forth. It's been absolutely incredible watching these two teams slug it out on the field. I just don't. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. The level of play we've seen here tonight, all the way from the fancy and the flash to just the good, consistent slugfest, duking it out here in game number 5, beating each other down until they finally manage to wring a win out of this for the Shadow. They finished the series 3-2. It's been such an incredible time watching this Premier League action, but we're not done with the action for the night. We've got more Minor League Esports action coming up as we move forward here. Before we get there, something to mention is I've got a lot more Rocket League left in me tonight, but I'm going to need a little energy to get there. So, of course, I'm going to turn to one of our sponsors, Balls Guarana. It's a highly caffeinated soda drink, which, honestly, this is not just an ad read, guys. I actually really, really enjoy the taste of Balls Guarana. If I have it available, it is my go-to drink when I need some extra energy. So make sure you support the people that support us, because I am a big fan of them, and they're a big fan of us here at Minor League Esports, and I hope you're a big fan of what we do here. So, Balls Guarana, if you need some energy, they are the drink to turn to. Speaking of Balls Guarana, we mentioned it a lot going forward through this series is Play of the Week. And as we move into our intermission here, we have the Play of the Week for you. So make sure you stick around for the intermission and more Minor League Esports action right after this.